Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Centaurworld, Episode 1. So first off, I have been a little sick this week. Coming off of TrotCon, I have had a little bit of con crud. So if my voice sounds a little different, it's because my nose is a little stuffy. But I've been getting better. It's been getting better, and luckily it's clear it's not anything worse. But yeah, just normal con crud. Get it plenty. Easy to deal with. Been drinking lots of fluids. Have some cough drops, all that jazz. Anywho, this is our new poll show. To try and give us a little more of a break from Tiger and Bunny, before giving that one last chance. We'll see whether it was just needing more of a break, or if Tiger and Bunny is just, for some reason, something I'm just not interested in. I'm going to adjust that. Hold on. Interested in reacting to on the channel. We'll see, though. But in the meantime, we're going to get to this. This won the poll, and it was another landslide victory. A lot of them have been landslide victories. And yeah, I don't know much of anything about this series. I've seen a couple clips here and there, just really randomly, and don't really remember much about them at all. But it always seemed like the kind of series that was like kind of in my wheelhouse, with the kind of stuff that I have reacted to in the past. So I've kind of always been surprised that no one ever suggested it as a donation reward. And I never really found the time to add it into the list. But now we have it as a poll series, so yeah. I don't know exactly what to expect. I know what some of the characters look like. I know what the villain looks like. I assume is the main villain of the series. But that's the main gist of it. I don't know like any story beats or anything. So we'll have to see. I do know that Kimiko Glenn voices a horse. That's all I know about that, but Kimiko Glenn was Penny Parker in Into the Spider-Verse, as well as Izzy in My Little Pony: A New Generation, the movie specifically. Anasani voices Izzy and everything else. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see where this goes from here. And hopefully it all ends well. And we get through the season, at least the first season. There are 2, without much issue, and we can bring it back for more in the future. Though I haven't really thought about how I handle a multi-season show on this, because we haven't really gotten to that point with anything. Because I don't usually do multiple seasons at once. I guess I would just come back to it in this slot at some point. And instead of doing a poll. Like at some point in the future, I would, instead of doing a poll, I just like, oh, I'm going to come back to Season 2 of Centaurworld instead. Probably something like that. But yeah, I don't know what to expect going into this. I'm pretty interested, though. So we're going to give it a shot and see what this has in store for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting first episode. I want to call it like amazing or anything, but I enjoyed it. So we follow Horse, a war horse, clearly, who is traveling with her human partner Ryder throughout their war-torn lands to fight these bestial invaders. During one confrontation, Horse ends up falling with this magical artifact off of a cliff and waking up in another world. It's just straight up an isekai, let's be honest. Horse wakes up in this other world, Centaurworld, in which it's filled with magic and bright colors and seeming peace. But there are hints in the songs they're singing. The one, I don't know how else to describe her, but overly caffeinated. Centaur mentions that there was like invaders in Centaurworld at some point, and that they had their own issues in that kind of respect. So that's interesting. And the fact that they have kept themselves in this magical bubble the entire time for safety makes me think Centaurworld may not be all lollipops and rainbows like it's kind of being presented by the fluffy pink one. I don't have their names down right now. But yeah, we kind of get introduced to our main herd of characters. The fluffy pink one is the leader, kind of the mom of the group, but is also really kooky and almost Pinkie Pie-like, but not quite there. She's not quite as hyper and over the top as Pinkie Pie. She comes across more like just an excitable mother figure character. We have the giraffe centaur who is, he just has no seeming respect for personal boundaries and almost seems to, there's almost like this implication at one point that there's a bit of a dark side to him, because he's the only one who like says yes about the crushing the skulls of your enemies beneath your hooves, which is like, oh, okay. There's the bird who is seemingly obsessed with himself, I guess. Again, the overly caffeinated one that's just a lot. And the zebra one who is very much into himself, clearly. And it seems like they're all a little unusual, and like they even mention that and everything. But they consider each other family, for sure. And I think we're going to learn more about their characters and the depths of them as this continues. I don't see any of them as being any kind of like noticeable issue per se, but we'll see how it goes down as the future comes along. Horace, meanwhile, is just trying to figure out how to get back to Ryder, and so that's kind of her goal at the moment. And I guess they're going to be searching for one of these centaur shamans. So this is very clearly just a setup episode. The animation, the art and animation is surprisingly really smooth at certain points. Like there's certain scenes, especially in the open with the war-torn world that Horse is originally from. It's got some really unique, interesting visuals to it. And not even just counting, the unique character designs in Centaurworld. Just the actual animation itself looks different than anything I think I can compare it to. And on top of that, you had some music in this, a lot of music actually. I really did not expect that, and the music was pretty good actually. It was surprisingly good for what this series seems to be. It just, it's like they're taking the music needlessly seriously. The people who are composing it and working on it in the series. Um, it doesn't sound like music from like a cartoon like this. And not to say like it has to be like children's music or anything. I'm just saying it doesn't sound like music from like a cartoon like this at all. Um, because even with other cartoons that have had music, like let's just say My Little Pony, to continue making comparisons there, like even the music in My Little Pony sounded like cartoon music. The music in here was like needlessly epic in a way. Especially that final song. Even if the lyrics weren't like entirely so, the actual music itself was. Um, it's just I feel too early to give it a true um to give my true feelings on it yet, because it's like this was again introductory. It was giving us the information about Horse, where she's from, where she's arrived at, and just giving us base introductions to all of the characters. So, and just the general idea of Centaurworld. So it's not going to be delving into a lot of the depths quite yet. But I definitely think those depths are there. Some things were hinted at, and those are kind of the things I'm latching onto. And there are still some things that I could see happening, but I can't quite assume, because it's always hard to assume with a show like this on whether or not they're going to pull off some kind of trope or something like that. Like you could say like, oh, this character could possibly betray the group, but it's like it's hard to say with as little info as we've gotten. So I'm not going to worry about too much speculation right yet. I am excited to see where this goes, though. It was a solid introductory episode. It did what it needed to do, and I can't complain about that. So, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of the first episode of Centaurworld, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.